Hello there, and welcome to 10 tips and tricks for base building in Corekeeper. In this video, I'm trying to summarize a couple of things that I will hope that will help you out while making your base look as shiny as the one that I built with my dearest together, who's AFK sitting here fishing. Now, first off, golden rule for base building, leave room for expansion somewhere. In this base, I have two areas where I left room for that. In the northern areas, we have more than enough room for expansion, and if I go further towards the core, as you see there, there's still a lot of unclaimed territory. This is very important as you will constantly unlock new things. There's always a new species of creatures that you need to put up, or a new biome that you want to set up. Some things need certain soils to grow in, and there's always a constant demand in new territory. Keep that in mind. Number two, keep that base walled off. It might sound like a absolutely basic and simple thing, but in this game, you can't afford any entrances to your base, as eventually something will wander into your base and wreak havoc there. The worst part is that while you're fighting yourself, by yourself in the areas, you might not be able to destroy your workbenches as you see, but the enemy, they will. Every projectile of theirs, every body slam of theirs might be really, really bad, so keep it walled off. Number three, cooking, alchemy, and farming should be close together in their vicinity. This is out of many reasons. So for one, the cooking and the alchemy ingredients go hand in hand. So what you need to make potions is very close to the things that you need to cook stuff. So putting these together very close to each other minimizes your walking time, and that is generally a really, really desirable thing, because I gotta say, running around and organizing things takes up way too much time if you don't organize your base accordingly. Number four, the first biome where you start at is a wonderful place for your first base. It is just what it is. The expansion around you does allow you to build a really large base if you'd wanted to, in a relatively safe environment. There's waypoints everywhere, leading you to all the places that you might want to go to in the world, and therefore you don't really need to go anywhere else for your main base. You can build secondary bases alongside of the waypoints. Eventually you will get more tools to build even more freely, so feel free to settle down at the very beginning point, because it's really good out of many reasons. The walls are easy to crack, so you can expand easily. The monsters that might roam randomly into the territory are fairly harmless, so that's one thing. And like I said, the starting biome is relatively large, so you also have really lots of territory to claim. Number five, Glowbugs as a light source for bigger rooms. There are torches, but you see, for larger cavernous areas, putting down torches on the ground quickly makes it really look crappy, you know. This doesn't look good. By all means, you will never get a aesthetic lighting together with torches alone. I mean, eventually you get also other ways of lighting, but once you have a bug net, you can start collecting these and use them for lighting's sake wherever you don't want to see torches. I really, really like these for what they do. Just keep one thing in mind: they wander around, so they also need to be walled in, otherwise they'll be eventually escaping your cavern. Number six, the vendors, your storage for gear, and the workshop fit together really, really good. So the workshop is where we store here all our metals and all those things, and it pays off to have your gear storage in the vicinity and the vendor, because after your standard trip, you go to your material chest, you dump your stuff in there, then you check out what kind of gear you had, then you either salvage it or you sell it. This base here currently needs to be reorganized, as the vendors are currently a little bit far away, as you see, all the way there. One of these vendors closer to the workshop and where you have your gear stored is really, really powerful, as it shortens your everyday time, your repeating trips. And this is really important, as these repeating patterns, this is where I personally think optimizing pays off the most. Number 7, those conveyor belts, they not only carry your precious minerals, they also carry mobs. So for one, you should have always traps at the end of your conveyor belt to safely farm those boys. And the other thing is, you should take this into account in when you are considering where you let your conveyor belts end, because you might be carrying more evil mobs from outer biomes if the conveyor belts come from more dangerous areas, for example. So what I'm trying to boil it down to, conveyor belt ends can be dangerous areas, so you might want to take a second or a third thought into consideration where you put these down so you don't mess up your base. And speaking about messing up your base, number 8, mob farms are dangerous places as they sometimes leak mobs through the wall. Sometimes the mobs just break down their walls, sometimes they spawn outside of their walls, sometimes they attack stuff out of the outer areas. Altogether, mob farms, until you have them completely under control and you're absolutely experienced in how setting them up, they produce chaos. As you see there were once walls around this thing. Now they are no more, because the chrysalis monsters aggroed the slimes behind the wall, and the rest is just a big old warfare scenario. Altogether, this means mob farms should not be close to the center of your base, because that is just a very, very risky thing. As you see there, here currently, we have even lost a piece of conveyor belt, and yeah, these are things that I learned the hard way in this base, and you might be learning them, or you might be learning from my mistakes here. Keep those mob farms a little bit further away from your base. It's really, really interesting and important. So number 9, another thing, I already pointed it out previously, but bases are so fragile. So keep that in mind when you have stuff in your hotbar. There are weapons that can easily wreck your entire base by just breaking down things, namely stuff like the hand mortar. If I would have that in my hotbar and I would be firing into one of these rooms, this would be very, very gory. And if you are playing co-op, this is one hell of a way of making yourself enemies in your team. That all being said, this also boils down to monsters. Don't accidentally summon bosses or stuff like that too close by to your base. Don't draw them to your base. Don't draw destructive mobs into your base, as currently player-made structures are ridiculously easy to destroy. And yeah, I've warned you. Really, just take good care and don't take things into your hotbar that can too easily destroy too many things. Number 10, experiment around with your base. Don't expect from yourself to build the perfect base right from the get-go. You saw in this video already 2 things where I was actively saying that I need to do them better, namely the vendor placement and the mob farm placement. It is all a learning progress, and expecting from yourself to do the perfect base right from the get-go would be expecting from you to already have finished the game before you even started, and that would be a very, very tragic thing. That all being said, everything in this game can be picked up and reorganized. All these walls that I build, I can put them somewhere else. All the machines can be put up somewhere else. The farms, the fields, everything is reorganizable, and therefore don't worry about doing something wrong. Do something and then make it better once you notice what didn't work out well. And this is one of the most important things that I can recommend to any base building in any sandbox game. Build and then reorganize and improve on, and repeat that, and eventually you will have a wonderful base and one that you are happy with. So thanks for watching, and many thanks to my dearest sitting here by the pond for letting me feature our base that we're playing here by ourselves. It's a wonderful little place, and I hope you are enjoying your base building as well, and I hope these tips help you out. Feel free in the comment section to add in new things, ask away what kind of tutorials you'd like to see as well. A like or a subscribe would be appreciated as well. In the description box below, if you'd feel like spending a dime or 2 on my work, there's links for that. I'd be very grateful if you did so. Many thanks for all of you, to all of you who are actively supporting Icon Gaming, and of course, thanks for watching this video up until the very end. It means a lot to me. Thanks for being around, and I hope you're enjoying some Core Keeper soon. Bye bye!